Of all the ancient human species that once walked the earth, the Neanderthals are the ones we can't seem to forget. They weren't just distant relatives. They were our closest match, so close that scientists call them our sister species. And here's what makes it even more wild. Their DNA still lives inside most of us today. They vanished around 40,000 years ago, but the mark they left behind? It's in your body, your blood, your brain. This is their story, and yours too. Neanderthals lived across Europe and parts of Asia during one of the harshest periods in history. The Ice Age wasn't just cold, it was brutal. No warm homes, no supermarkets, no safety nets. Every day meant survival. And to live in that world, Neanderthals evolved bodies that were nothing short of superhuman. If one walked past you today, dressed like everyone else, you might not notice, but stand next to them and you'd feel the difference. On average, they were about 5.5 inches shorter than people today. But don't let that fool you. They were built like tanks. Heavier, bulkier, and far more muscular than the average modern human. Men weighed around 143 pounds, women around 46. Their bones were so dense that some were double the weight of ours. Their shoulders, arms, thighs, and even kneecaps were thicker, built for raw power. Neanderthals didn't hunt rabbits. They hunted massive animals like wild horses, giant deer, woolly mammoths, and rhinos. And they didn't do it from a distance. They fought up close, face to face, using huge wooden spears. It was dangerous, bloody work. Their bodies were the tools of survival, and they paid the price. Neanderthals weren't just big. They were built for constant motion, carrying heavy meat over long distances, chasing prey, fighting predators. Some studies suggest they had naturally high levels of testosterone and growth hormones, making them muscular without even trying. Imagine carrying 60 pounds of meat for 30 miles through ice and forest. That's what they did, all the time, and their strength didn't end there. Many researchers believe a male Neanderthal could bench press over 440 pounds without modern training. Females could push 350. That's far beyond what's considered elite for us today. But here's the part that really shocks scientists. They weren't just strong. They were nearly unkillable. A huge study of Neanderthal skeletons found something unbelievable. Between 79 and 94% showed signs of serious injury and healing. They broke bones. They lost limbs. They suffered skull fractures. And they lived. One male had lost his entire right arm, crushed his left collarbone, been blinded in one eye, and was completely deaf from repeated ear trauma. Yet he survived, probably for years. That tells us two things. Their bodies were incredibly tough, and they took care of each other. Neanderthals didn't just survive nature, they fought it. A separate study found that about 3/4 of them had survived attacks by wild animals, and we're not talking small ones. 21% had scars from big cats, 17% from wolves, and 36% from bears. And these weren't sneak attacks. In most cases, researchers believe Neanderthals started the fights. That's how fearless they were. Their skin and bones also evolved for this brutal life. Their genes suggest thicker skin, stronger nails, and hair that helped protect against both injuries and cold. Their joints were larger, allowing movements and lifting power that most humans today simply can't match. Even their hands were different. Their thumbs stuck out at wider angles, and their fingertips were broader, meaning they gripped tools with force, even if their precision wasn't perfect. And then there were their lungs. Neanderthals had wide, barrel-shaped chests that gave them 20% more lung capacity than us. In one case, a man known as Krapina II had a lung capacity of 9 liters. That's 40% more than the modern male average. The largest ever measured in an athlete was 8.5 liters. These people breathed like machines. Their noses were big, too, long and wide, helping them move air twice as fast as we can. That helped them stay warm in the cold and burn calories faster. And trust me, they needed it. A single Neanderthal might need 4,500 to 6,700 calories per day. If they lived today, our food would need 2 nutrition labels, one for us and one for them. Now, if you're thinking that all this means they were great marathon runners, think again. Neanderthals were not built for long distance. They were built for bursts of speed. Their legs were short and thick. Their toes were long and wide, perfect for fast takeoffs, but not long strides. Their Achilles tendons were long and narrow, which made them worse at storing energy over time. Everything about their lower body screamed, sprint, not stamina. Even their muscle fibers were different. Humans today have a mix of fast twitch and slow twitch fibers. Neanderthals had more fast twitch, designed for quick, explosive power. That's perfect for charging at prey or escaping danger. But not for running marathons. If they came back today, your only hope in a race would be to challenge them to a long-distance run. In a sprint, you'd lose every time. But Neanderthals weren't just muscle, they were brain too. Their brain cases were much larger than ours. Male brains averaged around 1,640 cubic centimeters, females 4,560. That's about 30% more than the average modern human. But bigger doesn't always mean smarter. Their brains were shaped differently, rounder, wired for different strengths. They had larger areas for vision and smell. Their eyes were 15% bigger than ours, which means better vision, especially in the dark. Their noses were bigger too, helping them sense danger and temperature changes. These features needed more brain power to process. That's part of why their skulls were so large and their necks so thick, to hold and support those powerful heads. Their jaws were massive, their teeth blocky and wide, but their bite force, not that different from ours, around 700 newtons. Strong, sure, but not dangerous unless you were on the wrong side of it. So why the big mouths? One theory is that they use their teeth like a third hand, to grip things, to hold down animal hides, tools, or bones while their hands were busy. The patterns on their teeth support this. Grooves and wear that don't match normal eating, but do match tool work. Their diet was heavy on meat, really heavy. In fact, about 70% of their daily calories came from meat. Scientists call that being a hypercarnivore. They weren't just hunters, they were elite predators. So, what does this mean for you? If you carry Neanderthal DNA, and chances are you do, does that mean you're stronger, hungrier, wilder? Well, not exactly. Most studies show only small effects. Maybe a difference in your immune system, or your hair, or your face shape. A few suggest deeper effects, but the science isn't settled yet. What we know for sure is this: the Neanderthals were incredible, stronger than us, tougher than us, and in many ways, just as smart. Maybe smarter in the ways that mattered back then. They didn't fail, they didn't disappear, they became part of us. Thanks for watching What the Big Bang. If this episode opened your mind, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments what shocked you most about the Neanderthals. And next video, we'll reveal how early humans used brain power, fire, and teamwork to survive the Ice Age. Don't miss it.